Palm Springs International Airport, PSP, has seen its fair share of new routes in the last 2 years, from Alaska Airlines to New York JFK and United Airlines to Washington Dulles, plus 2 new airlines, Porter Airlines to Toronto Pearson and Frontier Airlines to Denver and San Francisco. In spite of all these new additions, one very important route from PSP remains unserved. One of PSP's most unserved routes. The route? Palm Springs International Airport, PSP, to Honolulu's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, H&L. Wouldn't it be nice to fly nonstop from Palm Springs to Hawaii? However, as of March 2025, no nonstop flights operate between Palm Springs and Honolulu, requiring travelers to make at least one connection. However, there are nearly 24 one-stop options connecting Palm Springs and Honolulu, but only a handful of those connections operate during the summer, making it challenging for travelers going from Palm Springs in the summertime, as summer is Hawaii's main tourist season. There are 3 possible airlines that might want to explore this possibility: Alaska Airlines, Hawaiian Airlines, or United Airlines. Alaska Airlines would be a great possible carrier to launch a new direct flight from Palm Springs to Honolulu. Alaska Airlines is one of PSP's most important carriers, and Honolulu is the second most important hub in the Alaska Air Group since the acquisition of Hawaiian Airlines. However, in recent years, Alaska Airlines has lost ground at PSP to Southwest Airlines and United Airlines. Simultaneously, Alaska is launching its own Ontario to Honolulu nonstop, leaving Ontario at 0900 and arriving at H&L midday. If Alaska Airlines were to launch its own nonstop flight from Palm Springs to Honolulu, this would complement the airline's already planned flights from Ontario to H&L by adding capacity between California's Inland Empire and the state of Hawaii. In addition to having Hawaiian Airlines on the ground, its oneworld partners, Japan Airlines and Qantas Airways, and Alaska's interline partners, Air New Zealand, Oceania Airlines, and Korean Air, serve H&L from their respective hub airports. Hawaiian Airlines has never served Palm Springs in its history, so if it did enter the PSP airport, it would be a game changer. It currently serves Ontario International Airport, but is ceding that service to Alaska Airlines in June. The Airbus A321neo would fit nicely at Palm Springs given its capacity and range. If Hawaiian Airlines were to operate at PSP, it would become the airport's 14th full-service carrier and would code-share with Alaska Airlines on the route. United Airlines recently expanded at PSP with the addition of its new Washington Dulles flight. Simultaneously, it served Honolulu from Santa Ana between 2021 and 2023, making it one of the most unusual routes in the United Airlines network. However, that flight was operated by a Boeing 737-700 because of Santa Ana's short runway. If United wanted to fly a nonstop flight from Palm Springs to Honolulu, it could deploy a larger variant of the Boeing 737, the Boeing 737 MAX, or the Airbus A321neo on the route, thanks to Palm Springs' 10,000-foot runway. Operating a Palm Springs-Honolulu nonstop flight would be beneficial for Alaska Airlines, as it can upgauge its already existing early morning departure to Seattle from an Embraer E-175 to a Boeing 737. Having two Boeing 737s on the ground would be beneficial because if the flight operating to H&L has mechanical issues, the airline can tail swap aircraft effectively without sacrificing baggage, cargo, or passengers, and especially fuel. If United Airlines were to launch a Palm Springs Honolulu flight instead of Alaska Airlines, it would still have to face the challenge of taking off before it gets too hot. But it is not immune to operational challenges if problems were to arise. To resolve this, the Chicago-based carrier can operate its already existing morning flight from Palm Springs to Denver via a larger Boeing 737 as opposed to an Embraer E-175 or CRJ 700, boosting capacity on its already important route to Denver, its largest hub by passenger volume. A Palm Springs-Honolulu nonstop flight would be a game changer. The distance between Palm Springs and Honolulu is approximately 2,663 miles. The current longest route from Palm Springs is to New York's JFK Airport at 2,371 miles, operated seasonally by Alaska and Delta Airlines. If a nonstop flight to Honolulu were to operate, it would be the longest nonstop flight from PSP. This would give Palm Springs International Airport more leverage to compete against other airports in Southern California. The Coachella Valley's population will continue to increase, and more people will continue to use Palm Springs International Airport in the coming years. Could Alaska, Hawaiian, or United Airlines want to operate a nonstop flight from Palm Springs International Airport to Honolulu's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport? We will have to see.